3, 2, 1, action. We're back. Season 2, Barn Talk, here with BC third baseman Nick Wang. Nick, really excited to have you here today. Thanks for having us. We're at the beautiful BC baseball facility, the Pete Frates facility that holds baseball and softball. We're sitting in the lounge right now. Great area, couch, TV, got some food over here. The locker room right around the corner. Just used the restroom, nice facility. We're so really excited to get going here, Nick. First 2 weekends of the season so far. How's the season going?
Going well, off to a good start.
A little lower, you can be a little casual with it.
We took 2 or 3 both weekends. Definitely some stuff to work on. We were down, I think it was like 11 zip on Friday. Cam Leary helped us out with a few bombs to make it a little more respectable. But can't complain with the start.
Yeah. Okay, reset that because I can cut and edit all this.
Yeah.
Because I'm my own production.
You're a magician.
Season. You guys win your first 2 series. So kind of going back a little bit. Obviously you started playing with Northeast baseball, 15 years old, 14, 15 years old. Great high school career. And a little bit of you have a unique road, I would say. It was a unique time in the world, right, with COVID. But I one of the obviously, we love you at NEB. You're a huge part of our facility, of our program. But another reason I wanted to talk to you is because you have such a unique story through your recruiting process, not just from high school, but then also utilizing the transfer portal. Talk to us a little bit about, and you don't need to be crazy specific, but about, that recruiting process, when COVID hits, and you kind of have to adjust some things, and you end up doing a post-grad year and, obviously to Holy Cross after that. So just kind of walk us through that process a little bit.
Yeah. So when I found out I wasn't going to Harvard, it was basically talk to Scott and see what's up. And his sort of thing was just reset it. So that's where the post-grad year came into play. It was kind of like a why rush into it and kind of like force coaches / schools into certain decisions and like with very little time.
Yeah.
So we did a post-grad year, and I ended up at Exeter. And then while there, I was talking to Georgetown and Holy Cross, and Georgetown didn't end up working out, so I ended up at Holy Cross. And that was really my only Division I offer. So that was a no-brainer, really. And, it was kind of going into
Big
it.
city, shout out the city.
I kind of went into it not really knowing what I was fully getting into. I drove around campus with my parents and had no idea like what any building was. We were just trying to figure it out as we went. But yeah, I had a great group of guys there, Love my roommate, Brendan Jones. Shout out Brendan Jones.
Shout out Jonesy. Great guy. Good hair. Really good hair.
Good hair.
Really good hair.
Good looking human.
Yeah, no
good,
doubt.
Good
I don't know
human.
if we can say that, but we'll cut that one out.
Good human.
Yeah.
Good human.
Good player.
Yeah, good player. And had a great group there. And when it came to the end of the year after we lost at Army in the first round of the Patriot League playoffs, I kind of had to think to myself like what the best option for me was with the transfer portal being a thing and not having to sit out a year. I talked to Luke Beckstein about that and sort of his process through the portal and decided that it was my best option and that I wanted to go through with it. So, and then we entered the portal.
So yeah, going through the portal, obviously, you're at BC in your second year at BC. Were there other schools that you were interested in? Was it, always BC? Why was it BC? Because, obviously we're here 2 years later. looking back, like this has been, you grew up 10 minutes from here. It feels like when you got here, you fit like a glove. It was, obviously I think, us having a lot of, NEB alums here, there's already kind of those instant connections. But just, again, were there other schools, and, why did it ultimately become BC?
Yeah. Well, so basically I was kind of getting looks, so to say, from a few schools, and one of those being Northeastern. So I actually had Luke take me around campus with me and my parents because it was like dead period or something. I liked it. I think Northeastern has a really cool opportunity with the co-op program and sort of being in the workforce while being in school. But it came down for me that I really wanted to have sort of like a college vibe to it, and with Northeastern, being in the city, there's less of sort of like a devoted college campus where you go, like you can drive through Northeastern and not really know you're at Northeastern. Whereas here at BC, like we have a beautiful campus, and that was sort of a big factor. And honestly, like school life, like I have a few friends who are already here my freshman year, and I'd visit them in the past, and sort of the kind of the school spirit and sort of the environment of sort of the student body here was something that drew me, other than, this amazing facility and sort of playing in the ACC.
No, I think you bring up a great point there just about the recruiting process. It's something we talk to our guys all the time about, is what you individually want, right? Like Northeastern, unbelievable school, from a baseball perspective, like fantastic coaching staff, right? One of the best in the country. And they win, right? At the end of the day, they win and they develop. Similar to you guys doing a great job here, right? So it's just that personal preference. Some guys like that city vibe, right? Some people want to be in the city, want that kind of electric feeling. Some people want a little bit more campus feel, right? So I think just tying it into the recruiting process for all you guys watching, especially the younger viewers, right? It has to be right for you. And it's not about what other people necessarily want, right? You need to do what's best for you, and what fits your, whether it's personality or, goals down the line, picking the place that's the best fit for you, whether it's size, location, skill level, kind of all those things. And, I think obviously, being here, it's the ACC, right? I think being in a Power 5 conference, there's a little bit more lights on you, right? There's a little bit more expectation on you, which I think, if you're a high level athlete, right, that's what you want, right? And you want to be surrounded by that all the time. You walk around this campus, it's almost like they're putting up, now a new athletic building, every day, right? Like this is pretty new. They just redid some basketball. They've obviously redone football, within the last 5 or 6 years. So you see kind of the big conference feel to it, right? And this is kind of the the age we're in of you got to have nice facilities and all that stuff. That's what kids want. So, right, go Exeter, the post grad to Holy Cross, now here at BC for 2 years. All of that change for yourself as an individual, going place to place, without mentioning, you playing for a different coach. The last 4 years, if you include prep school, 5 years if you go back to BB&N, right? So really, each of the last 5 years, you haven't had the same coach 2 years in a row for the last 5 years. How, as a player, does that impact you? Does it impact you? Has there been anything in your past that has helped you, prepare for this?
Yeah, I think for me, what I've learned through really 5 years, 5 different coaches, 4 different schools, so we slowed that trend down.
And I don't foresee any changes in the future of your.
Me neither. But yeah, I think it's come down to sort of just being yourself and kind of understanding what the new coaching staff / coach or kind of goals are and what they want to accomplish and sort of the style of play, and sort of like playing your game and then tailoring it to kind of the type of play that Bird Ball wants to be or like the Exeter wants to play, and sort of just adapting and just being open-minded. Sometimes you might not agree with maybe a philosophy, but it could just be coming out differently than you've heard ever. So just really being able to be coachable and sort of just learn new things because everybody's got something new, and just being yourself throughout the whole process.
Yeah, I think that's, being coachable, but also being receptive, just as even off the field, right? Like creating the relationships, even here, before we're kind of walking around and just, seeing your interactions with your coaches, right? Your director of player development, it all seems very comfortable. Even though they've been here for 5 months, right?
Yeah.
And obviously you're in the season, so you guys are in the thick of it. But I think it's easy as somebody who had a new coach, his last year of college. It doesn't always work, right? And it may work for some individuals, it may not work for others. But I think the main thing is being open and being receptive, because somebody else may give you a whole new way to look at something. And I think you said it great, where sometimes it's a similar message, it's just being said differently, right? And I think that's so important. It's from a messaging standpoint, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Last year, obviously had your first year in the ACC, had a pretty good season, hit 11 homers, I believe it was the number. Hit for some really good power. Obviously at Holy Cross had a fantastic freshman year, and you're off to a great start this year. I have to ask for the viewers. You hit a big home run last year, and the social media team here all of a sudden pops out with Wang Bang.
Yeah.
Right? And then Wang Bang, I know at our facility took over. It's still, it's a great phrase. Talk to me about the excitement of that, the feeling of whether it's, younger kids who kind of look up to you and are watching that. Obviously the praise comes from, the success you're having. But when that praise comes, how do you still stay focused, stay in the moment, and not kind of let, the world of social media, kind of take over your brain?
Yeah, I can't remember the first time I heard that phrase, but I honestly thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And granted, I didn't really hit for power at Holy Cross, so there wasn't really any grounds to sort of come up with something like that. Yeah. But seemed like kind of a layup last year for our social media team.
Yeah.
But yeah, our social media team does a great job, and the videos they come out with are unbelievable. But I think it really comes down to sort of just staying in the clubhouse, and staying in the locker room. We had a really good season last year, and sort of we got ranked, and we were ranked for a while. Once we got ranked, and we got up to 9, and then we got swept by Louisville. But sort of that it doesn't matter until
Louisville. Louisville.
Louisville?
Louisville.
Yeah.
Louisville.
But yeah, really the only ranking that really does kind of matter is the last one.
Yeah.
And that was sort of
that's a good one.
One of the
That's a good one. Coach P would have liked that one.
That was one of the things.
Shout out Coach P.
Shout out Coach P. Miss you, Coach P. And that was one of the things we talked about. Coach Gambino's thing was, look, it doesn't matter until the end. That's the only one we care about. And sort of, last year we were 17th, the 2 seed over at Alabama. We were looking to host, but it didn't work out. And that was kind of just fed right into our thing. And we were like, all right, perfect. Let's go into Alabama and show them why we should have hosted.
Unfortunately, that didn't work out.
It
but,
didn't.
You know.
But that was sort of our mindset going into it. But yeah, I think we have such a tight knit group where social media, like nobody really even gets caught up in it. Like, of course we all have it and see everything, but it's not something that really does affect us, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, and I think, social media going crazy is for people like myself, who like to overreact to things at times on social media. But, I think a lot of that comes from just being proud, being happy, for our guys. But I think that's really cool to hear, I think, about just staying in the clubhouse, right? And understanding, like, hey, we're working towards something bigger than us as individuals. And I think any great team, like, you're going to have that in any great team at any level in any sport, right? There has to be that connectivity, that togetherness. Man, this has been absolutely fantastic. I know we could talk for hours. We do talk for hours.
No doubt.
Last thing I want to get to, and I would be doing a disservice to all of us if we didn't talk about it. Obviously, our guy, our buddy, our pal, Mr. Jackson Winay had a huge weekend.
Jackson.
This past weekend. It's Jack. It's not Jackson. At Wake, getting an opportunity this year to play. He has a big weekend. For those of you who don't know, Nick and Jack have been best friends since they were
10, 11.
Yeah, this big, and they weren't that big really then. But since they were hitting homers in Bristol, Connecticut, for Newton Little League.
Yeah.
Find the videos; they're pretty electric. Orange Mako,
Good bat.
special,
Good bat.
special.
Good bat.
But I, Scott and I were talking about this, how cool this was. Obviously the Wake team puts out the edit of Jack after he hits a home run doing a bow. Obviously, a lot of people call you Mr. Wang, right? Like, that's kind of a thing.
Dragon Warrior.
What's that?
Dragon Warrior.
Dragon Warrior. Yeah, all the nicknames. So Jack, kind of paying homage to you in a way with the bow, and where people who know.
Yeah.
Like, how, to me, and talking to Scott, talking to Krug, like, how happy that makes us. Like, how does that make you feel, seeing your best friend, like, you guys are, playing in the same conference, playing against each other in a few weeks here, but still finding the enjoyment to love each other, to have that connection.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty special. There's not many words that you can use to sort of describe that, and we're both playing Division I baseball in the ACC, which is, I mean, pretty spectacular. If you would have told us that when we were 12, we probably would have believed you.
I think you would have.
We probably believed you.
100%. And sorry to interrupt, but that's like a lot of this has been manifested, right?
Yeah.
It's been like, these things don't just happen. Like, there's a lot of work behind the scenes that get you to where you're at today, right? The countless hours they've spent at the barn and the Littleton facility on their own hitting, taking ground balls, just being obsessed, borderline obsessed with loving the game, right? And working at your game. I know from my perspective, it's been really cool to watch. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of just brought me back to sort of us, hitting at Richardson, our Little League field, and just literally like hitting so many home runs and just trying to do home run derbies, like every day over the summer, and hitting in Jack's backyard, setting up the machine to throw like 150 miles an hour, and seeing if we can make contact. But yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming for Jack, and last year he was kind of the backup for an unbelievable squad.
Yeah, they were decent, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
He did have a hit off Paul Skeens in the College World Series. So
no doubt, was watching that. I'm really happy for him. I think I knew it was coming. It didn't really occur to me that he hadn't had his first collegiate home run until he hit it, and Abe's was like, hey, nice one.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of expected it out of him. And then after the game, after we finished our game on Sunday at UTA, and I saw that he went off, I was like, yeah, like,
I think you had about
not
10 texts from me
surprising.
talking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, like, been known. And sort of, yeah, he's going to ball out. He's going to do his thing. And sort of now the world's going to get to see that through the lens of the Wake social media team.
Yeah, we're also doing a great job. And then just tying off of that, obviously with NEB, and even playing at Holy Cross, right? Maybe having some guys transfer from here. You've played with an Exeter also. Like you've played with a ton of guys who were playing college baseball. Do you follow other teams? Do you follow your buddies? Like how often are you checking other guys' stats or what they did? And what's it like when you're playing somebody who I think Jack's a great. You guys are going to be playing each other obviously last year, but both will probably be in the starting lineups in a few weeks. But even a Shea Sprague who's at UNC now. What's it like playing against guys who you've been buddies with for a while?
I think it's really cool. There's sort of an aspect of, getting to see your buddy, because both guys are really busy. But sort of getting to go hang out with them on Thursday night. So like last year we went to Wake, practice, go home, dinner at the hotel, and then Jack picked me up and we just hung out. And sort of that aspect of there's a little bit of sneaky competitiveness still because you're playing them in a three game set. But there's also that really cool aspect of like we're both here, like look how far we've come, and sort of how like let's see how much more we can take this and sort of ride this out.
Yeah. And are you following other guys? Like are you checking up on guys? How often are you talking to other guys during the season, or is it just like I'm pure tunnel vision the entire time?
I think if we're not playing, we're watching.
Yeah.
One of the first things I'll do when I get into the bus and get back to my phone is kind of check ESPN and check out all the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And just see kind of what happened that day and
Yeah.
what kind of Wheels video I'm going to watch later.
Yeah.
Just highlights and, if we're not playing, we're probably watching one of our buddies or just a good matchup.
Yeah.
Like I was watching the Holy Cross guys on Saturday night when we were out to dinner, watching them upset K-State.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And that was fun to watch, texted them after.
Yeah.
We all keep in touch, at least I do, and sort of me and my buddies.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
I think everybody's kind of checking in and seeing how everybody's doing.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this has been fantastic. Like I said, absolute beautiful facility here. If you haven't checked it out yet, come see a bird ball game. Watch this guy, hover around at third base. Maybe he'll barrel one up, hit it on the hill for you. But to finish, we have to throw a shout out to Coach P, NEB Scott P, who isn't here with us today. He's here in spirit. He is always here in spirit.
No doubt.
But I think we all carry a little piece of Coach P with us at all times. I think he's a guy who's, I know for me, I know for you, I know, a lot of the guys in our program, he's a hugely important, person in all of our lives. And it's about the most selfless guy I know.
Unless he's on the golf course.
Yeah, and then I for on opposite teams on the golf course, I strongly dislike him.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah. He's not afraid to get in your head. He's not afraid to get in your head.
He wants to win.
Yeah.
He wants to win.
At anything, really. He's not competitive at all.
Or if you're playing 1v1 against him.
Yeah. Oh, bonus question. Who's a better golfer, you or Jack Winay?
Me.
Ooh, didn't even hesitate.
He would say the same thing about himself, I think.
Okay.
We have some good matches, If we both are able to play every day, I think our kind of like summer series would come down to the last match.
Yeah.
And be a good one.
Season 2 of Barn Talk is brought to you by Have Some Feel Co. I got this sweatshirt on right now. That dog will hunt. Hey, we got hats. Drop the link below here, hsf-co.com. Hats, shirts, right? Remember, key to life, right? Key to situations. You got to have some feel, okay? We're doing an interview right now. Don't walk in the middle of an interview. Have some feel. Get your merch now. All right, well, Nick, thanks for being here. Thanks for having us here.
Of course.
Beautiful facility, beautiful people. That's episode 1 of season 2. See you next time.